What's up, everybody? Welcome to the PixelPlay Sidequest, your bonus content here on YouTube. My name is Adam, aka CS Radical, joined as always, Chris, aka Jin and Chris, and Kratos in a still image up in the corner in their usual position. We continue our things that need to be remade, and we mean specifically remade. Remasters do not count. And we are now on the Nintendo 64. Look, the Saturn challenge is over. It's time to start the hardest one, is that's naming good games on the Nintendo 64. Chris, I hope you're up for this because it's gonna be really hard.
My list is double than it's supposed to be.
See, I still only have 6 because I mean, look, the odds are if I have 3, you can't have more than 3.
Yeah. I also have 6 for the exact same reason.
That's just the run.
It's
It's
my
like,
logic
look,
as well.
I'm putting the ones that I want the most, and then I'll have 3 backups in case somehow we all do. I really doubt that we will on this one. But, Chris, why don't I just start and ask you why Mystical Ninja's on your list?
It's the first one. Yeah, I knew you were gonna put it too, but I'm not gonna
It's
leave
on my
this just
backup
up to
because I
Adam.
knew it was your first.
It is. Just that series, it's so good. Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. God, the music, the charm of it, it's just like a delightful, like fun 3D platformer. It's obviously not Mario. It's obviously not every other single platformer that came out. Oh my gosh, there's so many on the N64 at the time. But it's like the perfect fun nonsense game that's actually fun to still play. Like the actual gameplay is still really good. You have 4 different characters that you can play as, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. So it's got really fun gameplay, but the story is ridiculous as all shit. Like it's hilarious.
Oh, it is like slapstick Japanese humor.
Yeah, and it even has a laugh track. The game has a freaking laugh track.
Oh yeah,
during
fourth
cutscenes.
walls.
It's so good. And there's like 4 different characters you can play as, which, to be honest, when it comes to 3D platforms, even till today, is still unheard of. If you play Mario Odyssey or go all the way back to Mario 64, you're just Mario. If you play Banjo and Kazooie, you're Banjo Kazooie. Like you're the 2 characters mixed into one. If you play Gex or whatever that one
console
with
like
the
doing it a lot
gecko.
actually, because Donkey Kong 64 is not far off from that. Actually,
Oh right,
maybe
I guess
more.
Donkey Kong
I can't remember if it's
64
4 or
had.
5 characters.
Yeah, they had a lot, but that's literally the only other one I can think of that had multiple characters you could switch between. And in my opinion, this game is way better than Donkey Kong 64. Yeah, because this had the 3D platforming, it had unlocking characters, it had a ridiculous story, it had cutscenes, it had different worlds, obviously, that you visit. That's pretty typical for a 3D platformer. But it had secrets, you could find items, which gave you permanent health upgrades. You got new weapons, you got weapon upgrades. Each character's weapons did something slightly different. The music was kick ass. Even if the game was ridiculous, you'd go into certain dungeons or castles or whatever, and the music got like so good. I don't know. It's just such an amazing game. I replayed it on my Steam Deck last year when I was figuring out some N64 stuff on there, and this was probably the first game I booted up immediately. I played through it in its entirety, and it was like, I struggle sometimes when I'm gaming now because I'll pick up games and I'll play them for an hour and I'll like kind of get a little bored. It won't keep my interest, and I feel like it's because games now are so serious. Everything's like Assassin's Creed taken seriously, The Last of Us really damn serious. Like I have very few games, probably outside of Nintendo games, that just like don't take themselves too serious. Outside of indie, because obviously you'll get something like Lethal Company, and that's fun as heck but not too serious. But it was just so nice to load into this game and just enjoy it, and I'd actually crave myself going back and playing, where it would be like, I'd be finishing up some house stuff or something like that and be like, I gotta run upstairs and grab my Steam Deck because I gotta continue playing Mystical Ninja. I gotta go play it. Like I gotta continue the story, I gotta finish it off. And just so good. It's like peak gaming, in my opinion, and I know that you're fairly similar with how much you love this.
It is such a fantastic game, and like, I think the benefit of remaking it too is like, there's a few things it needs to clean up. Like, obviously,
yeah.
some of the like mecha battles, or like the oh my god, Sentai battles, like the Power Ranger, like Megazord kind of things they reference. They're
Yeah.
a little too like health bar spongy. It's like almost like,
Hmm.
what we see in MMOs today. But like it does a fantastic job whenever it's on to be very engaging, to be very fun. And then like you said, like the sort of like, it's really hard to understand the humor if you're not familiar with anime. Like if you play this game in a
Hmm.
vacuum, you'll be kind of weirded out by it because Japanese slapstick humor is way different from what we would consider slapstick.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
like
It is
it's
very
still
different.
such a charming game, which is the big part of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love a remake of this. It doesn't even have to like I'd settle for a sequel, like a modern day sequel, but
Mhm.
this story from this one especially is just so good and I just would love a remake of this on everything. Just put it everywhere.
Yeah.
Let me have it. What about you?
So
What's one of yours?
I won't even screw around with this. Like, look, I could throw something really crazy out at the start, but like, let's be honest. Perfect Dark's got to get like the OG's got to get a
Yeah.
proper remake.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That I actually also just recently played through this. It was the Xbox remaster. I think it was on 360. So they improved like the controls and stuff,
Yeah,
but it is very much still the
I've
same
also played it with
game.
an emulator that has 4K 60 frames per second with a mouse,
Nice. Oh, with a
and
mouse.
it feels so like if somebody just released this game, obviously cleaned it up and then just added like obviously I want full remake, but even just to remaster, give it a nice coat of paint, and then just add mouse and keyboard controls. I don't think I would love
Yeah.
this game anymore, but like this is I know a lot of people are going to talk about GoldenEye. I don't even know if it's on your list or not. I personally have stayed away from GoldenEye because they've already tried to do it and it doesn't work
That's
because
exactly why I did too.
it
Stayed
doesn't
away from it.
capture it anymore because it was kind of in its moment. Perfect Dark works because it's its own original story.
Yeah. 100%.
And
Completely
I
agree.
also think that, it would work very well in a remake setup because it's a sci-fi setup anyway, so you can really make those new graphics shine. Whereas GoldenEye,
Yes.
with having so many different various map types, like that's a game that would be very easy for every map to look very odd because of just
Hmm.
how many changes they surely go through. Whereas this kind of fits a general theme apart from like, a couple of levels, like say the manor where you're out on like this beachfront property, but like most of the time you're like you're in a science lab or you're on some alien lab. Like there's a bunch of different consistencies that at least you don't have to go completely nuts with remaking everything.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. God, I would love a remake of this. And also it would be smart too, because they've got like a new Perfect Dark that they've been working on forever.
That
And
will
if they had
totally come
released,
out for sure.
yeah, eventually it'll be out, right? But if they had remade this first, like I feel like that would have brought the franchise back into a lot of people's minds and everything, and would have probably helped the sales of the next game, or like the brand new one. I honestly think that a remake of this would be smart on all fronts. And
Yeah.
I completely agree with what you're saying about it being a lot better to do than, like, say, GoldenEye. Because I feel like a lot of people would have also too high expectations with GoldenEye. Like, they'd expect it to be the perfect, game like it felt
It's
like.
weird how like I think we could objectively say that Perfect Dark is actually miles better than GoldenEye, but people
Oh,
obviously have the fond
absolutely.
memories of it because of the multiplayer especially.
Yeah, and I feel like people would be more trying to replicate GoldenEye's memories versus the actual game. Where with Perfect Dark, people would just be like, "Oh, I remember playing that game. It was really cool," and they'd actually just like play the game for what it is and really enjoy the remake.
Hot take, better multiplayer too.
Oh,
Because
the
because
multiplayer,
you could
yes.
you could actually like have custom bots. Like you could actually like have like, okay, I want this one to be very meek and run away all the time. I want this one to be like super aggressive no matter how close it is to dying. Like they actually did really good with even just like if you're going to play offline on your own, like and still get some of a challenge because obviously you can set them to be as easy or as difficult as you want. Which back then, pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
especially if you, yeah. Oh, especially back then, yeah. Because the thing is like multiplayer was great, but it still required you to have friends at your house. And sometimes it was a Thursday night and you felt like playing and you didn't have friends at your house because you're in school and your parents make the rules. So yeah, you'd want to Give
I
the
mean, shit.
multiplayer a
Even
go.
even if they just gave us mouse and keyboard control perfect dark, like with a slight remastering, like I think we'd still be like, yep, we're playing that all together next
Oh,
time we hang out.
oh my God, yeah. Oh, that we would all be buying that day one for sure.
All right, what's your next one?
All right, I'm gonna go with one. Again, I do have a bigger list here, but I'm gonna go with one I really actually want a remake of, which is Harvest Moon 64.
That was going to be my second choice if I had to guess for you. So far, I'm
Yeah,
doing well.
yeah. And the reason is because Story of Seasons has been getting remakes up the ass. They're remaking pretty much all the old ones, and oddly enough, they are so much better than the new ones. Like the new one would be like Pioneers of Olive Town, I think it is, where you'll get like Friends of Mineral Town, which is an old game that they've remade. The remakes are so much better, and it's because they had such a different charm in the older games. They were more simple. The newer games are always trying to like do something new to stay relevant or something like that, and unfortunately, I don't know, it kind of takes away from the charm. Um, but when you look at Harvest Moon 64, it to me is probably my favorite Harvest Moon game, but I normally go back to the Super Nintendo one just because of performance. The Super Nintendo one runs at like what I assume is 60 frames per second or whatever Super Nintendo on average ran at, and it was just like a good performing game. When I do load up Harvest Moon 64, whether it's on my Switch on the Switch Online when I was trying the N64 version and all that kind of stuff, it still felt very sluggish by today's standards.
For
The
sure.
graphics look very adorable and everything. I don't really have anything against them, but when it feels like it's running at 20 frames per second and you're used to Harvest Moon on Super Nintendo, which was like a very fluid game, it just I don't know. It just kind of takes away from it now, and it's hard to play. So for me, I want the charm of that game. I want the story of that game. I want the colors, the everything from that game. But I want a remake that kind of. It doesn't have to be like modern graphics. Like remake it in the same art style as, say, Friends of Mineral Town that they did a couple years ago. Because I think that was like a Game Boy Advance game that they remade with new chibi graphics and stuff like that. Just do that. It would work perfectly, but obviously, they could clean this up with those new graphics. Obviously, it would perform way better. And honestly, they'd be able to do something like add it to, well, they wouldn't specifically add it here, but add it on PC so it's, good for the Steam Deck and put it on the Switch and put it on all these consoles that it also would make a lot of sense for the people that just kind of play this game. Because I love playing these games like in bed or something. So yeah, I think that this game, there's no real good way to play it now, even through emulation, even if you want to try that route. There is no great way to do it. And I think that this game really does deserve the love that the other Harvest Moon games have been getting with their remakes as of late. Like, I would really like that one to get it.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely one of those ones that like it's got a place in my heart. I mean, it's the one that I played the most. It's also the one that I spent the most time with.
Hmm.
So there is a bit of a bias there. Um I will say like I have tried like replaying it in other formats. Like we've had this conversation before. Harvest Moon isn't a game that has stuck with me in the same way that others have. Like even Stardew Valley, like I tried and just could not stay with.
Hmm.
So sometimes they don't work out like that. But like if someone was to say, hey, we're literally just taking Harvest Moon 64 from scratch, we're keeping everything about it that was the same. Like we're not changing the characters, we're not changing even how it plays. We're just giving it a 4K 60 frame per second, more precise setup. We're even gonna keep like the top down view that it has. Like we're not changing anything. We're just giving it a brand new code of like brand new fucking graphical system so it actually runs correctly. I'd still be curious enough to try it. I would
Hmm.
probably be nervous that I'd stick with it. I know you would just be you're gone.
I'm
I'm
done.
not hearing from you for days.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. What's your next one? I'm curious. I'm so
Uh
excited every time you do your list because it's like I'm learning it as you're saying it, and then I start like writing down a list of games I need to replay now because you remind me of them. So,
there was a few different choices and I don't have nearly as much to say about this one anymore because I didn't play it like religiously as a kid, but I do remember really liking when a friend would have it and playing Jet Force Gemini and just
Mm,
absolutely adoring that game. But I never actually like even in the old days of renting games, I don't think I ever had it at my own place, so I never really got to play a bunch of it. So it's one of those
mhm.
cases similar to other games that I put on this list where it's like I want it remade just so I can try it again.
Yeah, I got to try it. That's another one I didn't own, but do remember trying it at a friend's house, and I was like, this plays really well. Like,
Like
it
even just
wasn't
watching it on
like,
screen, I'm actually relatively impressed with how it's controlling for a game that was obviously made during that tenure.
yeah, like normally games at this level were, 20 frames per second. Like,
Like I'm
cool, had the
honestly looking
3D
at this and think
graphics.
it's a Ratchet and Clank game at this point.
Yeah, this looks like it's almost the next generation. Now, it could have released late in the N64's life cycle, but to me, if you told me this was like a PlayStation 2 game with like a slight retro look and feel or something like that, you'd have me convinced because this is running a lot more fluid than I would expect, to be completely honest, and look a lot better. Especially the main character art when the character was on the screen was running around. That's a very detailed character with a lot less like polygons compared to like say Mario 64, where it's 3D and you can see the exact triangles that made Mario's shape and body and everything.
Yeah. So this is a 1999 game. I just looked it up. So it's towards the end.
Towards the end, but still
Yeah, like
only
Mario
about 4
64 was
years in.
was 96. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's still only 3 years later, actually. Which normally you'd think like, oh, this came out like 6 years after,
but
and it's
also keep in
the
mind that
GameCube
like
was already out.
there was a bit of a rush with the consoles. There was a lot shorter depths than we were used to back or nowadays, where it's more like
True.
7 or 8 years. I think pretty sure the gap between the N64 and the GameCube were like 5 years. Let me double check that.
Yeah, the gap was not much. I think it was 2001 for GameCube, so that would be
Yeah,
the 5 years.
it was 96 for the N64 and 2001 for the GameCube. So yeah, we're talking 5 years.
Yeah, which is crazy when you think about today's standards. We'd be pissed if it
Yeah,
was
like
like, all right, PS6
GTA
is out.
6 still has like 7 cycles to come out of at this point.
Yeah, we need to get GTA 5 on one more generation before we get GTA 6. Oh, good pick though. That is a pretty good
Yeah,
pick. I
like I said, I don't have nearly as much to say about it. It's just one of those things. Is like I need to actually take a proper run through this again, and it's really hard for me to get into that with games that are a lot more archaic, especially in this era where control wise, it's so much more difficult.
Yeah, the N64 was a tough one for controls. Really tough. Really tough.
I'm
All
trying
right.
to think what your third would be. I'm so far 2 for 2. This might be harder than I thought.
Oh yeah, I kind of want to know what you think I'm gonna say.
Mm, I honestly don't like the two. I was sure about the third one.
Yeah.
I'm a little yeah. I couldn't tell you. Like I could lean to like a Mega Man 64, but that's about as close as I could get.
No, you're gonna I'm gonna troll you so hard, but I actually mean this. I'm not joking.
So it's
Because I
Quest
had
64 then.
it's Quest 64, baby. Yeah, it is. Okay. This game sucks. Don't get me wrong. I bought it, I played it. I was like, why does this suck? I want it to be good. But I know that there is something good in there. It just unfortunately was held back by all the shitty decisions and probably limits of the console and limits of a million different things. Okay. But I still find this game charming and I still want to give it more of a try. Okay, if they remade it, if they just gave this one a chance and made Quest 128 or whatever they'd call it now, they could remake it and fix all of the things that sucked and maybe it would become finally the game it deserves to be. Because I still like will defend Quest 64. I still will. And if anyone's like, but it sucks, I'd be like, no, it completely does suck. This is like a 3 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay and quality and all that. But yeah, I don't know. I still love that game and I still need it to have the chance it deserves. It's not my number one pick, obviously. It's Mystical Ninja and then Harvest Moon and whatnot. But I still think this game, it deserves something. It deserves a
So
chance.
the biggest issue with this game, and I think I've talked about it before actually, is that it's a really, really bad system for leveling. It's
Oh, really
so
bad.
bad. It's the
Yeah.
worst parts of like old Final Fantasies where you have to do things to level it up. So in order to use or in order to upgrade your skills, you have to use skills of that element. So if you want to upgrade your fire skills, you have to use fire. If you want to upgrade earth, you have to use earth. The problem is that they don't tell you that there is a cap on the number of upgrades you can have. So you can't max out every single element. You can only max out 2. So if you happen to want the best water spell, but you put too many points in already between the other 3, fuck you. Not our problem. And it doesn't help either that when it really comes down to it, the 2 best elements end up being, I know earth is one of them. I believe it's wind. It's either wind or water. I know it's not fire. Fire is an afterthought. But one of the other 2, wind or water, has a spell that's essentially a magic shield that just negates a magic attack at you. So it means you don't take damage. So you just don't take damage, and then you throw a gigantic rocket things, and then you win. You just keep doing that until it's over. And it kind of numbs it. And that's like the biggest complaint that the game has. I mean, apart from the fact that it just plays like ass in general, and the battle system really could use some work, but that's what a remake's for. It's to make things less shit.
Yeah, if they would fix the leveling system, because that was a horrible part. Absolutely.
It really should just be like every other system. You hit level 2, this is what you get.
Yes. If they could do that, and then maybe you just get to like pick still which, like, okay, you've gained a level, what element would you like to upgrade? But you can still upgrade all of them. It's just you you get to pick the order that you go versus like your actual limitations. I think that would be a much better way to do it.
Yeah.
A much better way.
It's a game that just needs a really, really, really massive coat of paint.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but I mean, it's just a game that's renowned for being, let's be honest, a really bad game that also has the most basic story you'll ever see. So there's just nothing to it.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. And I still want that remake though.
I mean, we've come to the conclusion that you just have a lot of bad taste, so there's really not much we can do about it.
Only this one. This one I'll agree with everybody. I'll never fight them on it, but I still want it.
So my last one, way off the board. I don't even know if you've ever played this before.
Okay.
It is. I mean, if you're a big Burnout guy, you would have probably played this game in the old N64 days. But Destruction Derby 64.
Oh, Destruction Derby. Oh, I remember that one.
So again, we've had this conversation too in the show that like I'm really tired of simulation games. I want stupid fun, and Destruction Derby 64 was stupid fun back in the day. Because it's what you expect. It's a game that there's race elements, but also you kind of want to kick the shit out of everything around you. So it has that like Burnout before it was Burnout sort of vibe to it. There are like actual Destruction Derby modes where it's just, you try to outlive everybody else. But like realistically, you're just having fun racing really, really fast and just seeing if you can blow a car up.
Yeah.
And it just goes back to those old times of like, I miss games that did that. I tried to like Dangerous Driving. They really didn't nail what the driving mechanics, which is what really pulled me away from it immediately. But like, if you can get a game that actually can do that right, I think I would be playing that way more. Like I would immediately, if I found one in like either whether it's indie or, a new more like AA one came out, I'd immediately be like spamming our chat that we play with our friends and be like, guys, we need to play this at some point. Holy fucking shit, this is so much fun.
Oh, I'm seeing this footage and I'm actually impressed by some of the graphics, and not necessarily like the car and stuff like that, but like some of the ways they got around lighting where they still gave like that beam effect from the sun if you look directly at it kind of idea.
Yeah.
It's still impressive. I think a remake, yeah, they could do a lot of fun stuff with that, and it would have its market because most of the racers right now, or anything to do with cars, for the most part, are simulators, or at least they're racing, and it's meant to be taken seriously.
Well, it's why we were bringing up Road Rash when we were talking about the Genesis, where it's like it's something different.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that this would be different and therefore quite exciting. I think it would be fun, which is not what everybody is always doing in games. Because if you're doing a simulator racer and you finally get first place, like you feel great in that moment, but you feel kind of like shit as you're working towards it if you can't get there. Here, it's like you have fun no matter what. Blow up car fun. Yay.
Yeah.
Like it's just fun no matter
I
what.
mean, it is that like dumb little kid energy where all you want to do is just watch shit, get smacked
Hmm.
together.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important though. I
It
don't know
is.
why.
We do enjoy that a lot. So that's our list, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait.
that's it.
I was for a second. I'm like, I thought I started, and then I realized no. I guess Chris is first. That's why the order screwed up.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a bunch of N64 games. I might as well just give some quick honorable mentions to whatever I didn't get shout out because in my backups, I did talk about or I didn't talk about. I do also mention another racer that's kind of in that same zany thing. It's called San Francisco Rush 2049, but it's more about like stunt points. So you you could spin the car really, really, really fast in the air and just try to see how big a combo you could get. So it's kind of like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater meets Need for Speed.
Yeah,
That was
I remember that one.
And then I'm a wrestling guy, so WWF No Mercy, just because it's the best wrestling game ever made still to this day.
Yeah, I had that notice too. I was gonna put that one on my list. Those wrestling games on the N64.
I mean, small shout out to
multiplayer
WCW versus NWO World Tour, but WCW don't exist anymore. Don't count.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
What was on your list that we didn't get to?
I had just a couple honorable mentions, and honestly, they're not like very far off. I think they're all technically Nintendo properties. Diddy Kong Racing, because for some reason this amazing kart game existed, and they just kind of like
and never did anything with it again. Even Sonic's done like 3 of them now.
Yeah, like or take the Diddy Kong characters and put them in Mario Kart or something. Like I don't know, something. So Diddy Kong Racing, and then I put Wave Race 64 and Pilot Wings 64.
Yeah.
Because they're both franchises that apparently Nintendo's like, nah, we don't need it. Like one's a jet ski racer. Again, it would be different. It would be fun. It's not meant to be too serious. Like you're on jet skis. That's cool. And then Pilot Wing 64, I always loved just going in and kind of messing around. Like it's just challenges and skydiving and all this stuff. But I don't know. It's kind of that classic like Nintendo tech demo that would have been included or launched at the same time as a game, because it was the only other game that launched with the N64.
Mm-hmm.
I had more fun with that than Mario 64 in the beginning, with the jetpack and the little plane thing you could fly around and shoot balloons with, or targets. Like I don't know. That was just another one I had on there because I think like a new Pilot Wings would be fantastic. Especially on
we got that in Wii Sports Resort, right?
No, that was it was like they were trying to do it, but they weren't. It was like, well, everybody loved Pilot Wings and everybody loves Wii Sports, which just make the same thing. It's like, guys, it's not the same thing. One was about bowling and the other's about planes. Damn it.
It wasn't just about bowling.
No, there was other things in there, but I only.
But most people remember from bowling because they would whip their goddamn remotes into the TV. But that is a story for another day. So that's going to do it for this episode. Obviously, here on YouTube, like and subscribe. Make sure you share with all your friends. Don't forget about the link tree at the bottom of your screen. Always linked in the description as well. Link to our Discord, which is really the only important thing there. So go there. Chat with us, shoot the shit, all that jazz. But we will see you on the next one, whether it's usually Fridays at noon for the Sidequest, I should say, and then the main show is Wednesdays at noon as well. So that being said, thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye for now.